welcome back to the Fandalorian Club from Apocalypse Movies. I am Jacob Barley. I am joined by Brian Avalosino, and we should have Mr. Jake Berlin here in a few minutes or so. It's only right that he's going to join us because Boba Fett is one of his favorite characters. This is our review for the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Brian, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Just surviving the holidays, and I feel like I don't think I've podcasted in like at least a week, so it's very weird. It feels like I'm starting something new, but as a fire truck goes by, of course.
It's weird when you do it so often and then you take a break. You know, it's almost because we both have multiple YouTube channels that we operate on, and it's like there's always something every day to record.
100%. Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed your time off, though, man. Was it nice?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, of course. It's always nice to get a little bit of a break. Although I missed seeing everyone, especially the people in the chat, like John Booz and RD Films. Hello, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you both for joining us. I actually went to the Kings game last night, which Gio, he works at the hotel like right next to the stadium or the arena, so he gets free tickets every once in a while. We went to the game and it ended up being a buzzer beater winning game by the Kings. So even though I'm not a fan of either team, it was such a fun experience.
That's pretty cool. Who'd they play?
The Mavericks, but no Luka, of course. The only reason I really wanted to go was to see Luka play, but he wasn't playing.
Of course.
It was still fun, though. Kristaps Porzingis is freaking huge, man. He looks like a T-Rex out there. But anyways, we're here to talk the Book of Boba Fett. Wow, I didn't realize how excited I was for this series until it actually got here. I love that score that plays over our intro. That's amazing. But I don't know about you, Brian. I'm not the biggest Boba Fett fan in the world. Of course, I love his armor. I always thought it looked cool. I've become a bigger fan of him through the animation stuff and through Mandalorian. Were you looking forward to this maybe as much as somebody like Jake, or was it kind of mild for you?
I mean, I think Jake would say that he's probably the most excited. I love Boba Fett. He was one of my favorites growing up. I had all of his little toys. I'm not like psychotic crazy for him, like that he's the greatest character of all time. But yeah, of course, I'm always excited for one of these original characters to kind of get their what's the phrase?
Their due.
Their due. Yes, thank you. It's been a while.
Their respect.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean,
yeah, and I mean, what character arguably needs it or does it or should have it more than Boba Fett, because he's literally like in 5 minutes of the original trilogy
and became so popular.
And yeah, exactly. So I mean, he seems perfect to do something like this for. So I was stoked. Very curious to see where they go with it. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he was never a top 5 favorite character of mine, but I think honestly, what made me a bigger fan of him is Jango Fett, because while Attack of the Clones is arguably the worst Star Wars movie, I never had any problems with Jango Fett in that movie. And the fight between him and Obi-Wan is one of my favorite fights in all of Star Wars. So I think I love that Tamara Morrison is returning to play Boba Fett, and it makes it's the most logical sense because he's a clone of him, so he would look exactly like him. It works out perfectly for real life and the Star Wars world. But all that being said, how did you feel about the first episode?
So I'll definitely say when I first watched it, I was like, that's it. Like, that's it. Like I was bummed. I definitely was like, man, I wish they would have like done like a first and second episode. But then like I kind of sat around on it more and I was like, this is literally just the first one. Like they're not going to throw the kitchen sink at you on the first one.
Yeah.
So
I try to look at it. It's like the first 30 minutes of a movie. Like,
yeah, and
you wouldn't be like, what? That's it? You just continue watching, but we just have to wait a week.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw someone say on Twitter, like, you don't expect the freaking Avengers Endgame craziness in the first chapter of a book. And that's what these are. They're chapters of a book.
Yeah.
So it's like, once I kind of like sat there and was like, okay, that makes more sense. Like, I guess I'm just being a spoiled brat saying like, give me all this. I need him flying around, shooting jet, like all this. Like, then I was like, okay, that was a pretty good episode. I mean, we got some questions answered. I guess, yeah, questions, answers that's been 40 years in the making of like, did he survive? How did he get out? Da, 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 da. So it's like, for what it's worth, like, I mean, a lot of people have been wondering those things for 40 years and they finally answered that. And that alone is a ginormous deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of with you, honestly. When I first watched it, I was like, I thought we had like at least maybe 5 or 10 more minutes left of the episode. I was like, what? Here's the thing. Everything that happened in the episode is well done and it's good, entertaining, a couple reveals, but nothing hooked you and was like, you're not like, oh my God, I cannot wait for the next episode. I did not feel that way. Yes, because it's a Star Wars show and because it's Boba Fett, of course, people like us, diehard Star Wars fans, we want to see the next episode, but it wasn't like the first episode of The Mandalorian, right? Where it's like, oh my goodness, like, and they revealed Grogu, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing like that to, like, if you never watched anything Star Wars and you just watched this, I don't think that person would be like, oh my God, I'm hooked. I have to see the next episode.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
But,
I mean,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's completely fair. Like, if I was to show this to someone watching Star Wars for the first time, they'd be like, okay, like, but like to us that have wondered a simple question, how do you get out of the Sarlacc pit? That was answered. We now have that in this episode.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So there's been fan fiction, there's been, expanded universe stuff all written about this. We've talked, like John Boo says, we've been asking these questions and answering them since 1983. We finally got to see literally how it happens. So how'd you feel about that?
I loved seeing the dead stormtrooper in.
Yeah, that was
like
cool.
Just having like another thing in there. And I know I've seen so many people like, oh my God, that's why'd they put that in there? There wasn't stormtroopers in episode 6 when they swat. And I'm like thinking to myself, the stormtroopers could have been there for God knows how long. Like, yeah. I mean, supposedly it takes like 1,000 years to digest.
That's literally like the number one thing known about the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, chill. Like, we know stormtroopers can be stupid. Maybe one was just wandering around and got eaten at some point. But yeah, just that, it was so just like, you're inside.
Yeah, it's kind of claustrophobic.
Yeah, you're like inside the gut of this disgusting thing, and he's just like slowly getting digested. But I mean, him getting out was dope. I know I've seen pretty much everyone say, someone in the chat can tell me what show it is, but Patton Oswalt, like they literally.
It's from Parks and Rec. Yeah,
Parks and Rec. Okay,
yeah, it's where the infamous filibuster scene.
Yeah, so it's literally like exactly how he says it.
The hand comes out. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, so, and I think I saw someone say he's even credited in the credits. But yeah, I mean, I almost kind of wish that part was a little longer. Like, I don't know really what more you could do. Yeah. But just actually seeing, as a motorcycle goes by, just actually seeing that happen I mean, we've been saying, like I said, for the 9th time, 40 years, like, Boba Fett, did he live? Did he make it out of the Sarlacc pit? Like, how did he do it? Now we know. He literally,
it was cool that it shows how, resourceful Boba is, because he used the oxygen from the stormtrooper suit to like feel, or just to add oxygen down there, because you need oxygen for fire, right? To light. So that was super smart of him, and he might not have had another way out if that stormtrooper wasn't in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so, that was like, that might have been like honestly my favorite part, just because it's like,
yeah,
that's something like we've been wondering for so long, and just like to see him actually do it. And I almost kind of wish they would have shown like more of him like trying to get out, like what he did. But I mean, clearly he
I think
his way out of it. So
yeah, we got the gist of it. Why show him the rest of it when, all right, we got it. He's using his fire to get out, and he crawls out. And yeah, it's interesting, because I wonder if he wasn't wearing a suit, would he just die right away? Because
probably
would like the acid like just destroy your skin? Is his suit the only reason he kind of survived, which was pretty cool. We saw his suit get taken by the Jawas.
Freaking Jawas, those little
was interesting,
grubby-handed guys, always opportunists, stealing everyone's stuff. But I think before we get any further,
perfect timing, because we're right at the beginning of the episode to bring Mr. Jake Berlin in. Jake, how's it going, man? You made it safely.
I made it safe. I'm good. It's it's been a day, but it's good. So
awesome. We were just saying we couldn't do the first episode of Boba Fett without you, because you are a huge Boba Fett fan. We basically just have gone over our general thoughts and him escaping the Sarlacc pit. So you want to talk about your general thoughts, and then we can move on to that?
General thoughts is I liked it. I wasn't blown away.
Yeah, we kind of felt the same way.
But that's what I expected. Out of all of the stuff that's happening with Star Wars, this will be by far the hardest thing to tell story-wise. Because Boba Fett's history is like so all over the place, and the 5-year gap and like all of that space to fill is going to be very difficult. And it's funny, we've talked so much about like something like the Sarlacc pit and him escaping it and like how he escaped it. But ultimately, when you really think of it, it's exactly how it should have been. Like the dude just literally climbed out 5 minutes later. Like that's how it's supposed to happen. Nothing really special. Not like he's not like killing the Sarlacc or anything. He just climbed out. But no, I like story things that are happening. I can see a lot of potential in the show, but it's going to be something that's going to probably take a little bit of time to get used to, because it's going to be very different. I have a feeling the flashbacks are going to be throughout the entire show.
Yeah, it seems like
but that's something I'm sure we'll get to. So
I'm excited about the flashbacks personally. I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't want this whole show to be flashback. I'm fine with it. There's a lot of Boba Fett story between episode 2 and where it is right now.
He wasn't with the Raiders the entire time. So
yeah,
and I mean, I think he does go back to them obviously, because that's when we meet him in The Mandalorian. He's kind of, it seems like he's with them, but it seems like he's kind of earned his like a second home there in a way. But yeah, so we talked about the Sarlacc pit. So basically, it seems like the way we're going to get these flashbacks is every time he goes into the Bacta tank, is when we're going to see. And I guess he sleeps in there, or does he only go in there after a fight? Did you guys notice his scars are gone?
Well, that's what a Bacta tank is. It heals you. It's funny, actually, Jacob, this is like something that I thought of the second this all happened. It's very much what Arrow does with the flashbacks and the stories, right? Present day flashback, and everything kind of melds together. I'm interested to seeing if that continues.
Yeah,
me too. And what they used to do on Arrow is what was happening in the past was affecting what was going on in the current day. So that could be interesting what they do with that. So Fennec Shand wakes him up and he gets suited up. At first I thought the suiting up scene was a little cheesy, but then when I watched the episode a second time, I was like, nah, this is badass. I thought it was pretty cool. Did you guys like that?
Of course. I mean, It's Boba Fett. What is he known for? His suit. What do you want to see him in? His suit. So yeah, I love her too. Like even her putting on her little suit. I love a good armor.
Yeah. Do you think he always has
Mike.
Jake, you're muted.
That helps.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I just love that they didn't make it like a big deal, right? Like it wasn't like the ending of the episode. It just like happened.
Mm-hmm.
And now it makes sense because he's literally a crime lord, and I love that they call him the crime lord in this episode. That he would have droids who help him do it. So it does make sense how it all kind of happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was cool, and at least they didn't put the helmet on for him, right? They they hand it to him, so that was cool. But I think probably one of the most important scenes of this whole episode is everyone paying tribute to him, coming to visit him, bringing him gifts. Was there any standouts to you guys during this scene?
Well, the first of all, 8D8, great callback again. And I know Brian for the whole Schmodown aspect of it all, like having 8D8 appear is just amazing.
I saw it and I went,
It's very much what they did with R5 in Mando's. Was that season 1? That was season 1,
yes, right? Season 1.
Where R5 showed up on Tatooine again after the whole A New Hope thing. But the Trandoshan was actually played by Robert Rodriguez, which was really cool.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know.
cool.
I'm sure he wasn't in the actual prosthetic, but he voiced him.
Oh, nice.
Which was the cool thing. But no, I mean, it's interesting. It makes sense. The whole tribute thing. Obviously, we can talk about the mayor's assistant because he was the one that was kind of like the big part of it all.
Yeah.
But it definitely made sense. You know, it was interesting to see Boba and Fennec kind of like interact, and Fennec was like, "Do you want me to kill him?" And he's like, "No. Like we're good this time." And I love it because I love seeing their relationship together.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like it makes sense. I expect to see more of that.
Oh, I think we will too.
I love seeing the Trandoshans. I love it. I'm a sucker for an alien. Like Trandoshans. I mean, it's not a spoiler because everyone can literally figure it out in the trailer that the mayor is the Ithorian.
Yes.
So like, Ithorians are my favorite aliens, so I'm excited to see that. And just, yeah, I mean, him just sitting there, you're just like, you get that sense of like, oh, he is the big guy now. And I mean, hearing the Trandoshan speak perfect basic was weird.
Yeah, none of like
I needed a little more
sounds. Yeah,
a little more S's in his speak. And he was holding a Wookiee pelt. Oh,
that's their thing, though.
I know, but I was like, oh no. I'm trying to feel like. Well, I just loved how 88 just wanted to like torture people. Like he's like,
well, that was his thing.
I know, and it was just like he's still a little murder bot that wants to torture things, and he's like thrown off when he doesn't get to torture.
Who are the two guys that worked for?
Oh, the guards.
Fortuna, yeah, the guards. Yeah. What
I
species
forgot
are they? What species are they? Do you guys know?
They're called the oh my god, why am
oh my god, I've been talking about them.
I'm blanking all of a sudden.
Me too. Now that I'm on the spot.
I turned to you guys for species, but I just wanted to say on
Gamorrean
there we
guards.
go. I was gonna say it sounds like something Marvel, but
I love the inclusion of them because I heard some people complaining like, oh, they would never, they would have betrayed him. I'm like, no, did you not pay attention? They said they were loyal to Jabba, they were loyal to Bib, and they did try to escape when Boba Fett took over, but he's like, will you guys be loyal to me if I spare your life? And they kneeled down, and I knew from that moment on, they're going to be loyal to him from now on.
It's like a Koye, right? Like she wants to go with Nakia in Black Panther, but she's loyal to the throne, not who sits on it.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's no matter whoever sits on that throne, she's loyal to it. Very similar to them. That's their job. Like they're loyal to whoever is there no matter what. And I love that they brought them back into the fold. It's funny because they were in the trailers. They're peppered throughout there, but you don't ever really notice them because they're in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool to see them in action, even if it was for like a small part.
Yeah.
Like,
that was one of my favorite things, is that I saw them and was like, okay, they're just gonna get murdered at some point. Like they
have an
always
actual
do.
role.
They actually did something other than get eaten or killed. Like that's literally all we've ever seen them do.
Which I'm interested, from all like the rumors and stuff. Like I'm interested in seeing how that comes back into the fold with the beast that Jabba always has on hand, and eventually how that could play into this series. If we do, and I'm forgetting the name of the beast. What's the name of the beast again?
Rancor.
What if we see a Rancor? What kind of connection they could possibly have to a Rancor? And I also love just seeing practical effect aliens. Like it's always fun, and they looked great. They didn't look like they missed a beat. They probably look. They're probably the same exact ones from Return of the Jedi, which would make sense. But that wasn't like the only alien species that we called back to, which was a lot of fun. So
yeah. So obviously, like you said, Jake, the mayor's assistant was probably the most significant part of this. And while I like what his purpose in this scene, I didn't like he was talking too modern for me.
It didn't feel Star Wars.
No, it didn't.
But we've seen that a couple times throughout like these shows. If I remember correctly, wasn't there like something about the bar owner in The Mandalorian episode 1 where people were like, she was just kind of like talking. Like she wasn't talking like Star Wars. She just felt like she was modern. When they went to
it was
the
mechanic,
planet.
Right?
Or maybe it was the mechanic. It might have been the mechanic.
Yeah, Amy Sedaris or something.
Yeah, like
her character.
Or also the Mandalorian episode 1 with Horatio Sands.
Yes,
right?
That too.
Also, that like people are like, well, they don't feel Star Wars, and I think that's just kind of like a thing. And I'm used to it now. Whereas maybe 2-3 years ago, I would have been like, that guy should be talking different. He looks different. But now, because we've seen it so much, I'm like, it doesn't feel Star Wars, but to me, it does. I don't bat an eye at it because we've seen it so much over the last couple of years.
It's not like the first time it happened, you know?
Yeah, and
it didn't bother me as much because he was just so over the top. Like,
well, that too, yeah.
He just seemed so like, of course.
He was super arrogant. Arrogant.
Yeah, so it didn't bother me. I just like, oh, this guy's gonna get messed up at some point.
He's gonna die a horrible death at some point.
Yeah,
and it was interesting because he basically threatened him.
That's what I'm saying.
He was leaving.
Dude, Fennec is gonna kill that guy. I'm calling it right now.
Fennec is a like bloodthirsty.
Oh, she's awesome.
Well, I love that Boba was like, "This is Master Assassin Fennec Shan." Like, what a cool title.
That's her title. Yeah,
she's not just bounty hunter; she's the Master Assassin.
Yeah, they're literally like not sugarcoating it. This isn't the hand of Boba Fett. No, she's the Master Assassin. She's gonna kill you at some point. Like, so.
Yeah, so that, I mean, people know not to mess with him because he's got her right next to her side. She might have been my favorite part of this whole episode. I love how she constantly just is willing to kill anybody that disrespects them. And he's like, no, let's hold on a second. Like
them changing their mind to keep her alive.
The best was
a brilliant move.
Were they thinking about leaving her dead?
She wasn't supposed to come back.
Yeah, she was just a one-off character.
Originally, it was just a one-off for that episode. And she was just supposed to die.
Thank goodness, because we've seen her in the Bad Batch, where I loved her in the Bad Batch, and we wouldn't have seen her there. Or was that in the past?
It was in the past, but still, I mean, there was if they killed her, I mean, there was a chance
we'd never see her again in the future. Yeah.
Getting rid of Ming Ng Wen is the worst decision you can ever make in your entire life. Like, she is so good.
Yeah.
And I was an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. Like, I watched it all the way through. She was one of, if not the best part of the entire series. Her Agent May is brilliant, and I love seeing her in the Star Wars world because in that world, she was kind of a bounty hunter in a way, like assassin. But now she can go like full-fledged like assassin bounty hunter. And the Fennec character is just so interesting, like her relationships with people, and specifically Boba. And I'm interested to see if they met before, like if flashbacks reveal if they have known each other or if he just saved her. Out of like,
I thought they addressed it in Mandalorian. No, maybe not.
So.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. It feels like they've known each other for a long time.
Like they've at least crossed paths.
Yeah, and the bounty hunter world, of course, they probably recognize each other, but like Fennec has been operating since the Clone Wars days.
That's true. So they must know about each other at least.
And like I know that she doesn't look it, but Ming Ng Wen's in her 50s, which would put Fennec around the same age.
She'd have to be, because Attack of the Clones to this is 30 years.
That's what I'm saying. And like that would put her older than Boba Fett technically, even though she may not look possible. Like it. Technically, she would be older than him. I'm interested in seeing how or if they ever cross paths via flashbacks, because it seems like the flashbacks are going to play a really, really big part in the whole series.
Yeah, that's true.
They need to make sure that they don't one-off bounty hunters and assassins anymore.
The worst decision you can do.
Because those are the ones that people end up loving, like, and being so into. And she's, I mean, our first true, more than just a 10-second thing, female bounty hunter. Like, we don't. The only other one was Zam Wessel in Attack of the Clones, and she was there for 10 minutes.
In live action, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of them in the Clone Wars and stuff, but yes.
Yeah. Well, and then Aurra Sing sitting.
Didn't the gunslinger die in The Mandalorian? But nobody was a big fan of him, right? He died, right?
Yes.
I think,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, she's a masterclass actress.
She's 58.
She's 58. Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Amazing, yeah.
She does not look it. She does.
Look at her.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And I think one thing that Star Wars is doing that's kind of cool is they are taking characters that we first met when they were young and giving them their due when these actors and actresses are older. Mm-hmm. And like, you're only hopefully going to become a better actor or actress the longer you work. So I mean, like, Tamora Morrison.
If we do the math, like, she is older than Boba Fett, because we know when Boba Fett, like, he aged normally. He didn't age like a clone. Like, he was never enhanced or anything. So she is older than him, which doesn't really matter, but it's pretty cool. So the scene with the mayor's assistant, I think, is important, because Brian and I were talking, like, this episode didn't really give you any hint to what's next, really, or leave you any. There was no cliffhanger. There was no, this is what you're going to see next time. The only thing setting up future storylines was this, the threat of him and the mayor are going to come butt heads at some point in the future. So that was pretty cool. I believe after this, they head to Mos Espa. And Jake, Brian and I were talking about this. Isn't this Anakin's hometown?
Yeah.
I thought it was Mos Eisley. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think he's from either.
Yeah, I thought he was from Mos Espa, but either way, because I know it says this town makes an appearance in The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, and they don't go anywhere else on Tatooine.
If that was the case, then yes, but I could have swore it was something. It is Mos Espa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's I guess it's called Tatooine's Lost City.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Doesn't look very lost.
No,
I know, right?
Remember, this is also like, what, 40 years later?
Yeah.
So maybe it's grown since then. But in Attack of the Clones, I guess we only saw a part of it, and there is one point where Qui-Gon is looking over the city, I guess.
Yeah.
It just didn't look that big, but I mean, that's cool. That's very cool if that's the case. I wonder if, like, I mean, it won't come into play, obviously, but like hearing of Anakin or something like that, I don't know. Just, it could be curious.
It's just cool to go back there, because we always go back to Mos Eisley.
And mistake me if I'm wrong, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but is that not the Skywalker's home at the end of the episode?
It looked like it, but I think that's just your standard moisture evaporator.
It looks like their home, like the way it was all set up and everything. But anyway, that's just jumping too far ahead. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like the very last scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't notice it, but like Brian said, that might be what houses look like there.
Watto could very easily be around with his species, but I doubt it. That guy probably died a horrible death.
He was pretty old seeming in 2.
Yeah. Anyway, Jacob, go ahead.
No, what'd you guys think about at least returning to Mos Espa, or, it was fun.
I'm interested in the aspect of like that. Like it almost felt like a stripper bar. Like it was a casino, right? Yeah, but it very much was a casino, but it almost felt like a stripper bar. Like
I mean, with the way those Twi'lek
I mean,
helmet cleaners.
Prostitution exists in Star Wars canon.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm very interested in that aspect because now Boba is in control. Like she said at the end as she walks away, she goes, "This is like it's now yours," because he's now the crime lord, right? And I'm interested in seeing how that all comes into play and him having to like handle everything. I love the actress that plays the main Twi'lek who owns the establishment. I forget her name.
I keep hearing people say, but I don't know what she's from. But they have absolutely nailed the look of Twi'leks.
Yes, 100%. The practical side of it is brilliant.
They
look real. Like there's no like they don't need to do that whole like headdress to cover maybe like where a seam would be or something. Like they look so real. And hers, I don't think we've ever seen a normal like skin toned
white Twi'lek. Just say it, a white Twi'lek.
Yeah, so it's like I was like, oh,
her name is Jennifer Beals, by the way. She is a very, very well-known TV actress.
Okay.
She's been in she was in Flashdance a long time ago. The Taken TV series.
Oh, duh.
She was in the Book of Eli, Devil in a Blue Dress. So she's actually done a lot of movies, but over the last number of years, she's done a lot of television.
I recognize her.
Yeah, I really like her. And I'm very excited to see like her role. And I hope it's bigger than what we've seen from other characters like in Mandalorian, because sometimes it's just like a one-off that we see these characters in. I hope she's like constantly in the series. And some person we didn't skip over is Max Rebo. We got a Max Rebo appearance. Jacob, he is the blue alien playing the drums.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And that's awesome.
What a great little callback. That dude's still playing killer music.
He made it out.
We never knew what happened to him, right?
So yeah, and it looks like and I always mix up
Figure and Dan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, which one do you think it is, Brian?
I don't know. They all look like
the Mos Eisley's Cantina. Figure and Dan. It seems like Max Rebo and Dan have combined forces a little bit. So
I didn't see it because I haven't gone back to watch it, but I know we watched Alex and Molly's, and apparently there was a astromech droid that's like playing. His head is like a symbol that's like,
oh wow,
and then he has other stuff. He's a drummer.
That's great.
Sice Noodles. Is it Sice Noodles?
That would make sense.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know. They all have crazy names. Yeah. It's hard to remember.
And apparently, every time Boba goes here, he's going to get a fat chunk of change in his
helmet,
right?
That he'll just lose in a heartbeat. But back to your original question, Jacob. I think the whole Mos Espa thing is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gonna look and feel and operate a lot different than what Mos Eisley has looked like in the past, right? Mos Eisley was the scum of the universe coming, and this is very much seems like
bougie.
Almost like
it seemed bougie. It's
I was gonna say like almost like the Las Vegas of Tatooine.
Yeah.
Right. Like it was like a high roller city in a way.
Yeah.
And now he has kind of control over a lot of it. I will say the people that came after him. Well, yeah, control. The people that came after him, I don't think are ultimately going to be bad guys. I think they might be a little confused on the newcomer on the block. But the politics of everything Mos Espa very much interests me because Star Wars politics, when it's done right, is some of the best politics. Period.
And this is like cool. Crime politics, like the crime world politics.
This is like your gangster movie, bro.
This is what we've been wanting to see. A lot of people have been wanting to see with Boba Fett and the underworld and stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for this. And I think somebody asked earlier in the chat, do we think it was the mayor who sent those goons after
100%
Boba Fett?
100%.
Yeah, and that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
He's probably just confused where Bib Fortuna is
or testing him at the very least.
Maybe like his loyalty or trust.
Well, they both expected a tribute from one another, and neither of them gave it to them. They didn't. Boba Fett say your tribute is to walk out of here alive or something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very curious to see this mayor type thing, just because it's like that almost seems like he's kind of going to be like the big bad almost, which is weird because
I think they got some surprises for us.
I mean, this is how my brain works, but John Pedro's right. John Pedro's right. Tracksuit gang, tracksuit mafia.
There we go.
Bro, Star Wars, bro.
It's all connected.
Star Wars, bro. No, I think my brain works like when I see stuff, I go back to what has happened in trailers. And if you look in the trailers, it's Boba kind of like bringing together what we can think of being like the crime bosses. Very much what I saw in like The Dark Knight, where the Joker brings all Gotham's crime lords together, right? And the mayor is going to be the one that they're pretty much going up against, and they want to take back Mos Espa. What I'm imagining is going to happen, but I could be completely off on that.
Well, I don't know how you guys felt, but I almost feel a little bit like right now in this current setting, like the crime lords aren't that important. Like it almost feels like Mos Espa is kind of like running like a normal government. Like
they lost their power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes, that's the better way to say it.
Like they don't have the power and the ability to be themselves anymore.
Yeah, because like I don't know about you, but like Bib Fortuna is not Jabba the Hutt. Like
he probably didn't support him.
Yeah, he got fat while he was on it. Like that.
Well, when the Empire was in charge, they let this crime run, like they encouraged it, right? And
because they had ultimate control.
Yeah,
and I think Jabba was pro-Empire, if I'm not mistaken.
At the very least, because he just did like what
I know that they said, like some worlds were under the Hutt control, but towards the end, I'm pretty sure that at some point it was either rebellion or Empire, and I'm pretty sure Jabba was at minimal Empire, which means
at least he was cool with them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like you leave me alone, I leave you alone type thing.
I mean, Empire Boba is working for Jabba.
Exactly.
Darth Vader lets him take Han. Like, yes. So Jabba was 100% pro Empire. Which now the dynamics are completely shifting, and have shifted in just a few years since the mayor has either taken over or has been there.
Yeah.
And since the Empire is disintegrated. So
who knows if the New Republic is cracking down on these crime bosses.
I doubt
it's not as easy to run it,
Yeah, I highly doubt it. I'm sure that they have, because they're still very small. They've never been like super big. And if I'm not mistaken, at this time period, they were like shifting like systems for their home base. Like they're doing things on their own. And Tatooine
it's not like they had control.
It's so far out on the outer rim, they probably don't have like the ability to cover something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. And haven't they said like after Return of the Jedi, it was kind of like the Wild West
100%, which is what I'm feeling like
until the New Republic took over. Yeah. So what do you guys think of the action scene we got? These guys surround them with the shields and they kind of got to get out of it. I thought it was cool.
I mean,
my laundry has thoughts.
Yeah.
Is that a droid?
They were
88 torturing someone.
I mean, they were clearly kind of overpowered. They caught off
outnumbered,
guard. But never count out Fennec Shan because she's a master assassin. And I love when he goes, Fennec, follow, or whatever he said. Like, and she just
he said alive. Fennec, alive.
Yeah, that's it. Alive.
Yeah, she kicks one of them off a building.
Well, I mean, he only needed one.
Yeah.
So technically she's right.
Yeah.
I love that scene though where she's like looking at him and I knew it was gonna happen, but she just power drives him over the edge, and then she has one left. Like,
I wonder if Boba Fett is like, it seems like he's not willing to just kill anybody for no reason.
Well, I think he said in this episode, right? He doesn't want to rule with fear but respect. He said that, right?
I think that was the trailers.
And then it's in this episode, and then she says fear is better.
Yeah, well, she said sometimes fear like that. Sometimes you need a little fear to get respect or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's changed. He's flipped the page, right? He's not the classic Boba that we know from Empire and Return. He's kind of grown a little bit. He's gone through some ish. The action scene was very cool though. I think that was just like the tip of the iceberg. I love when Boba just literally blows a dude up. with a torpedo rocket.
Yeah,
Like,
I was wondering, did the guy just completely blow up, or did he get?
I
think
he just disappeared.
Yeah.
I think the dude just absolutely disappeared, and it was like the greatest thing. It was like remember when Mando pulled out his disintegration rifle?
Oh,
that was cool. But then this one, I'm like, the dude just aimed and fired like
a
so
missile.
If this was anything other than Disney, there would have been like meat parts falling down.
Yeah.
Like he got annihilated.
Yeah, it was very cool. I love
cool.
rooftop action chase scenes, and this one lived up to it. Very cool music. It's not Ludwig Göransson. I'm forgetting her name. I'll pull it up at some point, but she did a great
he went
job
hard in the score though.
Well, Ludwig did the main theme.
That's
he did the main theme for Boba, which has a little Empire feel in there, and then there's a little bit of Mandalorian feel in there. But the overall scores of the episode, I actually enjoyed quite a bit of the music, and I like that they're giving someone else the opportunity to do Star Wars rather than just John Williams, Giacchino, and Ludwig Göransson, right? Like, it's very cool. But yeah, I thought the action was very cool, and it's ground level, which is something that we don't get to see a lot of in Star Wars, right? It's not like super high.
You ain't going to see the Force in these shows.
It's going to be fist to fist contact. It's using their electro staffs or arm rockets or whatever it may be, and yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was
cool. The cool thing, I think literally in every Star Wars movie and every Star Wars show, maybe even every episode of every Star Wars show, there's space travel. Like they're going to different planets. I think we might spend this whole entire show.
I don't think we're leaving. I don't think
either.
I think there's enough there that we don't have to.
No, I agree. And I think that's cool because we never get that.
Well, I don't see the point either.
Well, people are going to be coming to him, right? He's in Jabba's palace. He's in Mos Espa. We see like how big of a spaceport that is.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be enough traffic there where he doesn't have to leave.
And he can't leave. If he leaves, he risks losing control.
And I will say that in the trailer we did see him in the Slave One. So I'm interested in seeing why he's using it, but maybe he's just traveling across Tatooine, which could very much be.
I mean, I get the situation where he leaves.
Sorry, the fire spray. My bad. Whatever. Fire spray one.
So we talked about the flashbacks a little bit, but I mean, a lot of people are talking online, very Western, how he's getting dragged through the sand. Like those shots look amazing.
The volume was so good.
He got his ass kicked so many times in this show episode.
He got humbled real quick.
Yeah.
Well, and I love it too because it seems like the obvious theme of everything is kind of like vengeance, right? Like he's kind of coming back from the dead per se. He's kind of wants to take back.
I think you say vengeance. I think it's second chance.
Okay, maybe that's a better way of saying it. Second chance. Maybe I think we're talking about the same thing, but that's the more positive way of saying it.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of what he's doing.
When I think vengeance, I think Anakin going to the Tusken Raiders.
Okay, so then we're gonna second chance. Second chance. That's a better way of
taking him down.
He took out Bib Fortuna. That's pretty vengeful.
Yes. I love the flashbacks in this episode alone for one reason is because it seems like the flashbacks are creating and manipulating kind of what's happening in present day. And when I say that is like when he's with these Tusken Raiders, he's learning things, and like the Tusken Raiders, they gave him, like Brian said, a second chance. Now he is almost, instead of going attack first, I'll ask for forgiveness later. He's now going about things a different way, possibly because of what happened with the Tusken Raiders. Like it seems like everything is kind of connecting, and those flashbacks are happening for a reason, not just to tell his story in the past, but to kind of connect what's happening in the future or present, I should say. Very much like that's why I had made the connection to Arrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Every time something happened in present day Arrow, they would flash back to how he learned that or what happened to make him do that be involved in that situation. And it almost feels like they're doing the same thing here, which I really like.
Yeah, that can work because you don't want flashbacks for no reason. Right?
Yeah. No, they're not going to waste this whole show doing flashbacks for no point. Like the flashbacks are going to help push the story. I love the Tusken Raider stuff that's happening. Clearly they're not your standard Tusken Raiders. I mean, he had to earn their respect by saving fighters. By saving one of their kids. I just loved how he literally, the Tusken Raider leader or whatever, doesn't even look at him. He just hands him the
Hands him
water
the
thing
water.
and walks away.
Okay, you guys got to tell me, does that creature have a name? What is the name of that creature?
Yeah, it's called it's the dude from Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
Oh, Goro.
Goro, yeah.
I honestly, I didn't even think about Mortal Kombat, but I freaking love the design of that creature.
Well, and I love that he has
six
he had
legs, right?
six
arms.
legs.
He had
Arms.
2 legs and then 4.
But they were all the same, so he can crawl on all 6 or come up.
So
Whereas
he can,
Goro
like a
had 2
caterpillar.
feet and 4 arms, right?
Yeah.
These were like 6 feet. Not
so he could stand up on 2 feet,
yeah,
or crawl on 4 legs.
yeah. Well, and it was
so cool.
I mean, we're probably never going to see the creature again, but it'd be very cool. I'm interested in seeing like that kind of creature, like their involvement in Tatooine, because it seems like Tatooine has a hell of a lot more going on than we think they do.
I'd be so scared just to walk in, just take.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just so much out there that you don't know about.
Step on one of those.
Like, there's probably a sandworm from Dune out there or something.
I mean, I heard people were like, "We've never seen that one before." I'm like, you've got to think. There's so much in that desert more than just.
Yeah, we haven't seen every creature that exists.
A rancor and a what are the dragons called?
The crate dragon.
Crate dragon, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I meant Sarlacc, not.
No, crate dragon. So crate dragon, Sarlacc, and then what you just said. I forgot what you said.
I don't think. See, I don't. The rancors aren't even native to.
No, they're not native, and we learned that in the Bad Batch.
Yeah. So I mean, like, other than the crate dragon,
that's a great comparison.
Oh my god! It 100%. It literally.
Yeah.
That's
well, and we have to remember that at one point Tatooine was all water in Star Wars history. So there is a lot out there that has adapted over the years that people probably have never seen. It's a planet that is all sand.
They used to be like sea monsters that adapted over time. Yeah.
What did you guys think immediately when the paw? Did you think it was like a crate dragon or something?
Crate dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just
I thought it looked too small though. I don't know. I guess I
never could have guessed that it was something like this.
Oh no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Goro just pops out of the ground.
I actually thought it was some kind of fossil. I didn't think it was actually alive.
Too. I thought it was dead.
Like, I thought they were just gonna find something that was gonna like scare them or something.
They're deep sleepers, right? Because
yeah, I thought it was just gonna be like
they were there for hours. They were digging for hours. That dude was just like sleeping, you know.
And what, these little rocks have water inside them?
Yeah, they're like little sea anemones that have water inside of them.
Which that's a very cool aspect to how the sand people live, right? Because obviously Tatooine's all sand. It's another cool thing to add to their culture of how they survive. Because we see, right, like when Boba and the alien are digging, the kid Tusken is just like hanging out like he's on a beach when they're dying.
Yeah.
Right. And they clearly have adapted and they're able to understand the land a little bit more. But those little water patches help them. It might not just be water either. It might actually like hydrate you a hell of a lot more than any other liquid might.
Yeah. Again, even though they weren't used, like seeing another alien like the Rhodians, like
what a doucher though, right?
Yeah, he could have escaped and he went like and
yeah, that was like a full-on alarm system.
Yeah, well, he got smushed to death. So,
what blow killed him? I thought for a second he was gonna like rip him in half.
I thought he was gonna rip him in half, but then I thought to myself, wait, this is Disney. That's not happening. Yeah. So I think the smash via like T-Rex foot on the head killed him.
They are so careful with the kills in this show. Yeah. They make it so where they can say, "Oh no, they didn't die. He just fell back or he fell off the building.
That he got mushed.
That dude got
He's half
they really all are dead, but Disney could be like, well, we never technically confirmed that they're dead. You know, it's like everyone who dies in this episode.
They make it still brutal, but it's not excessive.
They just don't show it. They just don't show the actual death. It's all implied.
I wish that he turned around and then we saw him just do this. So you didn't actually see it, but you saw his arms flail out, because I think that would have been like, it would have made more sense if he did that rather than smash. But at the same time, I get it. It's Disney, like whatever.
Yeah, he got effed up pretty good. Either way.
Yeah.
What kill was worse, the dude getting blown up or you getting smushed?
The dude
like
getting
worse death.
Yeah. What do you think?
The blow up.
Would you rather get smushed or blown up?
Blown up.
Blown up. Yeah, because you don't have time to think. You just instantly blown up.
Also,
he got the crap beat out of him and then smushed.
Well, and to that guy's point, who rest in peace. His face was facing the other way, so he actually never saw it coming, which is even better reason.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
We don't
rest in peace, wall guy. Wall
Pieces.
Rest in peace. He was a snitch. So there you
go.
Or So anything else you guys want to talk about with this episode, or any predictions? What's coming next?
I'm just excited. I want to see more of Camino. I think that would be very cool.
Please.
That little tease of like the split second. I was like, no way, we're doing this.
I squealed like a little girl, and I would
love to see more of Camino. But I don't know if we will. It seems like it's going to be more so all the flashbacks after he escaped the Sarlacc pit.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to make a prediction or something, this has nothing to do with the episode, but I want to see Boba and Cad Bane face off at some point, whether it's flashbacks or in the main timeline. I think you can easily tell that squashed Clone Wars story in a flashbacks form of something that happened in those 5 years of what he's been doing or something.
There's no way they're not going to not tell the story of the dent in his helmet.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's happening.
We haven't seen a lot. They've been pretty secretive with this show, right? We haven't seen a lot in the
trailers. Were literally all the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one or two itsy bitsy things.
Yeah, like the crime lord meeting and stuff, and then there's a few other shots. But for the most part, I'd say 85% of it was from the first episode.
So we kind of have no idea what's coming, which is exciting, to be honest.
Yeah. I just need to hear Cad Bane's voice in the shadows.
Yep.
And then him emerge.
Well, first it's the Spurs, and then it's the voice.
Yeah, if I hear his voice before I see him, I will freak out.
And we would have no idea who's playing him, right?
No,
You could do anyone. That doesn't even need to be an act. That could be a practical.
I'm almost hopeful that they do what they did with Queel, and they have someone play a practical effect, but they get the person who actually voiced him in Clone Wars.
It needs to be the same voice person.
I think that would be a really cool thing that they could do.
Do you guys think we're gonna see? Because Timothy Oliphant's character is still on Tatooine, right?
I think we might at least glimpse him because they took the armor and he got the armor.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see him.
I don't think they're going to interact, but he might be in the distance or something.
I mean, it makes the most sense, right? They're literally on the same planet, not too far away from each other.
The reason why I think it's a high possibility is because we know that Timothy Oliphant in the flashbacks of that episode, we see him in the Sandcrawler.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where is the armor right now? It's in the Sandcrawler. So I think there's definitely a chance that we could see him in some form. I don't know if they'll interact, because I don't know if it makes sense if they interact. But if Boba's trying to maybe strengthen his grip a little bit over not just Mos Espa, but farther, he could reach out to his town, which is very possible. So
yeah, I mean, we could see him in the flashbacks too, because that's who has his armor. I mean, I don't think they'll cross paths, because that means Boba Fett failed in getting his armor back, because he doesn't get it until he gets it from the Mandalorian, right? So but yeah, I'm excited for this series because I don't know what's coming next. That's what's more intriguing to me. But yeah, that should do it for this episode of the Fandalorian Club, Boba Fett episode 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. I want to thank Jake and Brian for joining me. I am Jacob Bartley, and we're going to be doing this every week. So come back. We'll be talking Boba Fett episode 2 next week. We're going to aim for around Wednesday, Thursday for these, try to get them out as soon as possible. And yeah, this is our last show of 2020, technically, right? So
it is.
Yeah. So everybody have a great
Stay safe, y'all. And don't party as hard as I would, which is not at all.
Yeah.
He's not going to stay up till midnight.
Yeah, I'm just staying at home, stay up till midnight.
12:05 is my bedtime.
Go to sleep. Yeah,
so
exactly. But we will be back next week, though, in 2021. I believe might be doing our most anticipated. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Only people who watch this show.
Mumbo jumbo is what he's talking about.
Don't be disappointed if you don't get that. But yes, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.